Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something genuinely fascinating: how we actually teach the brain and the nervous system to fourth and fifth graders in IB science. We're talking about the brain as the ultimate command center. I mean, it is literally the absolute boss of your body, right? It's this biological supercomputer that runs the entire show, controlling practically everything you do, even when you're fast asleep. Now, think about this for a second. How exactly do you remember the way to your best friend's house? Or, why do your eyes suddenly blink when a puff of wind hits your face without you ever consciously deciding to do it? Where do your wildest dreams come from? Well, it's all thanks to what essentially looks like a big, gray, wrinkly sponge sitting right inside your head. It might not look like much, but honestly, this incredible organ is doing millions of calculations a second. Okay, let's dive into this. Meet the brain team, the heavyweights. So, to understand how the brain pulls off all this magic, we really need to meet the key players. Your brain isn't just one solid mass. It's actually made up of a bunch of different parts that work together as this unbelievably efficient team. First, we're going to look at the main, large structures, the heavyweights. They take up the most physical space and handle some of the really complex tasks. The biggest part, that's the cerebrum. This is the thinking part of your brain. Whenever you use your voluntary muscles, the ones that move only when you actively want them to, you're using your cerebrum. So you absolutely need it to bust a move to your favorite song, or kick a soccer ball, or solve a tricky math puzzle. It's also where your memory lives, so it helps you remember what you ate for dinner last night, or the exact name of that crazy roller coaster you rode 2 years ago. It even helps you reason. Now, notice how the cerebrum is structured. It actually has two distinct halves, or hemispheres. The left half is super analytical. It's the side that helps out with math, logic, and speech. Then you have the right half, which is way more abstract, helping you process things like music, colors, and shapes. But here is the real mind bender. Each half of the cerebrum controls the exact opposite side of your body. No joke. Your left brain controls your right arm, and your right brain controls your left arm. How wild is that? All right, moving just below the cerebrum, right at the back of the brain, we find the cerebellum. It's a whole lot smaller than the cerebrum, but seriously, do not let its size fool you. It is a critically important piece of machinery. The cerebellum controls your balance, movement, and muscle coordination. The source text uses a brilliant analogy for this. Think about a surfer riding a massive wave. What do they need most to stay upright? Well, it's not the coolest wetsuit or the fanciest surfboard. It's their cerebellum. It's constantly making these tiny, rapid-fire muscle adjustments to keep them perfectly balanced on the water. And the third heavyweight is the brainstem. This is a small but really mighty structure, sitting right beneath the cerebrum, and it connects the rest of your brain straight to your spinal cord. The brainstem is totally in charge of your involuntary muscles, the ones that just work automatically. It tells your lungs to breathe air, your stomach to digest food, and your heart to pump blood. You can kind of think of the brainstem as the ultimate, super stressed secretary, frantically sorting through millions of incoming and outgoing messages every single second just to keep you alive. Moving on to Section 2. Meet the tiny brain VIPs. So beneath those heavyweights, buried really deep inside, are some structures that are absolutely tiny, yet they hold massive VIP status of the body. These tiny glands and cell clusters control some of the most profound aspects of our physical growth and our emotional lives. First up is the pituitary gland. Get this, this little powerhouse is only about the size of a pea, but its job is completely monumental. It produces and releases essential hormones into your body. So if you're a student and your favorite jeans from last year are suddenly way too short, well, you can thank your pituitary gland. It releases the special hormones that make you grow and drives all those major physical changes of puberty. It's tiny, but it literally shapes who you become. And this brilliantly illustrates our next tiny VIP, the hypothalamus. Think about the number 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, or 37 degrees Celsius. That is the absolute magic number for your body. The hypothalamus acts as your brain's inner thermostat. Just like the little box in your wall at home that kicks on the heat or the AC, the hypothalamus knows exactly what temperature your body needs to be at to survive and thrive. When that 98.6 degree baseline shifts even a little, the hypothalamus leaps right into action. If you're outside on a blazing hot summer day and your core temperature starts to rise, the hypothalamus instantly tells your body, hey, start sweating to cool down. Or if you step out into the freezing snow, it forces your muscles to shiver to generate heat. Its entire job is to constantly course correct and get your body right back to that perfect, safe baseline.
Our final tiny VIP is the amygdala. The word actually comes from the Latin word for almond, which is literally exactly what this little bunch of cells looks like. Scientists believe the amygdala is responsible for processing your emotions. So, when you're incredibly happy at a friend's birthday party, or when you're just furious because your little brother messed up your perfectly clean room, those really intense feelings, they're being generated right there in that little almond-shaped cluster in your brain.
All right, section 3, your high-speed nerve network. So we've got all these amazing structures making decisions, regulating temperature, and processing emotions. But the brain is locked up inside your skull. So how does it actually communicate with the tips of your toes or your fingertips to make things happen? Well, it needs a communication system. The brain absolutely cannot work alone. It relies on the spinal cord, which is a long, thick bundle of nerves protected by your backbone, and this vast network of tiny thread-like nerves spreading throughout your entire body. This whole system is made of millions of microscopic cells called neurons. They act just like high-speed internet cables, allowing electrical messages to flow back and forth between the brain and the body at absolute lightning speed. Let's look at this network in action with a super fun, high-stakes example from our sources. Imagine a spiky potted cactus gets knocked off a shelf and is falling right toward your best friend. First, your optic nerves see the falling cactus. That message zooms up your spinal cord to your brain. Your brain processes the danger in literally milliseconds, decides on an action, and sends a brand new message zipping back down the nerves to your muscles, screaming, "Jump up and catch it." And the crazy part? All of that happens in a fraction of a second. This nerve network also explains exactly how we learn new skills. Think back to the first time you tried to ride a bike. Your brain had to consciously think about pedaling, staying balanced, steering, and braking, all at the exact same time. It felt totally impossible, right? But as you practiced, the neurons in your brain sent those exact same messages over and over, eventually creating strong connections, or neural pathways. Now you can jump on a bike and just ride without even thinking about it, because that specific pathway is permanently built into your network. Finally, section 4, the big picture, keeping your brain healthy. We've seen how incredible the brain and nervous system are, but they definitely aren't invincible. Understanding how our daily lifestyle choices directly affect our health is a massive central theme in IB science. So, what actionable choices can we actually make to protect this supercomputer? The sources lay out a really clear list. First, eat healthy foods packed with vitamins to nourish the nervous system. Second, get plenty of playtime and exercise to keep the blood flowing. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, protect your skull by wearing a helmet during sports. Fourth, avoid harmful substances like tobacco and drugs. And finally, challenge your brain. Do puzzles, read a book, or learn an instrument to keep all those neural pathways incredibly strong. This actually ties perfectly into the core philosophy taught to the students. It's summarized beautifully in this quote right from the curriculum. The choices people make affect their health and well-being. It's a powerful reminder that while your brain is the boss of your body, you are the boss of your choices. You have the ultimate power and responsibility to care for this magnificent, wrinkly gray sponge that makes your entire life possible. So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a question to really reflect on. Whether you're a student learning this for the very first time or an adult just marveling at the sheer complexity of human biology, your brain is working tirelessly for you every single second of the day. So, what healthy choice are you going to make today to power up your amazing supercomputer? Think about it, take some action, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.